So, y'all, when you want to talk about inclusion and belonging, hey, I got some stuff to talk about. All right. Let's look at this right now. The new era in my mind, I'm sharing with y'all my thinking. This is Will Lewis's thinking. This is how, and also I'm gonna share with you some things how what we've applied at ECU Health. But let's look at this. Look at diversity as an operating system. Okay. Whenever you have a breakdown in your computer, you take your computer to Best Buy, to the Geek Squad, and they're going to ask you one thing. They're going to say, what is your operating system? They're not going to ask you what the app is. They're not going to ask you what your hardware is. The operating system is the system that helps that computer function. It helps you and me to interface with the computer. So they're going to ask you, what is the operating system? When I think about belonging, I think about it as an operating system. What is your operating system for belonging? And I have for us to consider some elements of what I believe should be undergirding belonging as an operating system that connects into human friction. So there's new language, and the new language is human friction. We used to talk about in the old way of talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. We would say we want people to get along with each other, and we would say we want to take out unconscious bias, and we need to appreciate each other. Right? That's the language. Some of the language that was used. The way I see it now, this new language, human friction, we name what's really happening so we can address it with clarity, curiosity, and courage. Anytime that we have two individuals in the room, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if you're a blood relative or not, you can be in the same family, you can be adopted, you can be a work colleague, you can be in the same fraternity organization. But anytime you got two individuals in the room, you're going to have human friction because those two individuals are different. Bottom line. So when we begin to look at the language of human friction, that takes away any of the political and this stuff that they talk about being ideology. We remove that off the table. We're playing chess and not checkers, y'all. And so we're talking about human friction. Anytime in any organization, you got two people, we're always going to have human friction. So when we begin to talk about how do we decrease human friction, now the C-suite leaders can see that because we didn't put an inclusion in there, we didn't put belonging in there, we didn't do anything. We said we want to increase the human friction. That is the outcome of belonging anyway. That was the outcome of diversity, equity, and inclusion to decrease human friction. Okay, now that's one element, and we're gonna break it down a little bit more. Now, when we look at inclusive, another element is resilient, inclusive leadership. Leaders build trust, adapt through challenge, and create conditions for everyone. Create positive conditions for everyone. That's inclusive leadership. That bird, that's why I showed y'all that bird. Y'all didn't know y'all was being set up for this. That bird is a picture of resilient, inclusive leadership. That means we don't stop, y'all. Oh my goodness. Ooh, I'm gonna break it down. Then we got to go. Then we're gonna look at how do we operationalize the system, and that operationalizing the system, I'm gonna share with you a couple of ideas and things that we're doing. We're doing ECU Health. We call it EARD, Power Hour Unit Consulting, but we're operationalizing all of this right here. New way of thinking, system one, system two. Look up Daniel Kahneman in your spare moment. You can look him up right now. Daniel Kahneman is a sociologist. If you look up thinking fast and slow, it'll pop up for you. Look him up if you want to. Thinking fast and slow, but a new way of thinking. How do we slow down our thinking? Because we have system one and system two. And here, y'all, here's the reality. It's really not a new way of thinking. It's a new way of packaging what we've always talked about in the old way of diversity and inclusion. In the old way of diversity and inclusion, we talked about unconscious bias. Well, system one is unconscious bias. System two is slowing down in unconscious bias so that we can be more intentional. So there's a new way of thinking, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Then also we have to think about when we're talking about diversity as an operating system and what are the elements of that system. We have to look at this, and this field versus R is also part of the new language, but I broke it out separately because it's very important. And so we're going to look at how we move from feeling, which is temporary, to R, which is definitive. I'm going to stop right there because I threw a lot
time. Registration is out there. Go to our website, check out more. If there is nothing else we need to share, I just want to say thank you again, Dr. William Lewis, and everyone that joined the call. Look forward to